bench. We're bringing in the sexiest man in fantasy sports. He's even gracing us with a singlet tonight, and we're talking about Jamie for NRL fantasy analysis. G'day, Jamie.
How you doing, everyone? It's good to be here. It's been a while.
Mate, you're looking, it's freezing. It's freezing, mate, and you still graced us with your presence and your guns.
I'm definitely trying to rug up. So I've got the socks on, so that's something.
Now, Corbs, mate, you're probably lucky that Andy isn't on tonight because you guys just copped an absolute flogging.
It was disappointing. We did get a hiding. The flat track bullies were out in force tonight, and the draggies. Yeah, first half was good. It was right on the edge there, wasn't it? It was either they're going to tough it out and Eels are going to just get the win, but it went the other way and it was bad.
Yeah,
it was ugly.
Of course, you've had a massive round of what you've scored, and your overall rank.
A little bit of bounce back. I've come in at 950 at the moment.
Well, that's good.
And moved my way about 6,200 in the rankings. So just chipping away. That first round was I think it was 33,000. So just keep knocking a few thousand off each time. But just looking at the team, I was talking with you before, TK, and Jamie, he's the king of it, just holding off on trades. I mean, his team, the People's team, did really well last year, and that was something I learnt. So I was just looking through. There's no real panic. Tuolangi, just see how bad his injury is, but there could be a no trade for me this week, hopefully.
Yeah, well, I've scored a 909, so I've moved to 6,083. So, like yourself, clearing back about 1,000 a week. But Jamie, how have your two teams gone this week, man?
Pretty good. Corbs, have you made max trades the first few weeks or?
No, I've just 4 trades, so just one a round or one leading into each. No, it'd be 1, 2, and 1. Yeah, so 4 trades.
Yeah, sweet. What are we at? My team is clawing back nicely. We had Dylan Brown.
He's good. Yeah.
2.6% ownership. That was a good little game. But 1,284. So happy with that. And the People's Squad, I think, sitting about 400th or something. So killing it. You
are killing it in both ones. So it's working out really, really well for you this week. Are you going to make any trades or are you just going to hold?
Somewhat similar with that, like that Tuolangi one. But to me, Reedy's probably has to go. He's just not delivering fantasy wise. It's either we downgrade him somewhere, or we over the next few weeks try and get him up to Cleary would be the interesting one. When we've got Starling, we've got Randall doing a job, so that's the theory. But whether it's this week or next week, we'll work it out.
Okay, nice boys. Let's hit it. Now, Corbs, stud time. Who have we got?
I've got Ryan Pappenhausen. I had him in draft. I was getting spanked. The bloke I was playing had Murray as captain and also had Cookie in his team. And they both got mid-70s. And I conceded and packed my bags, sent the message through to the group chat. And then I was thinking, well, if I'm got a chance, I need Pappy to go in and score bulk tries. And even though he got 4 and got a massive 91, I still didn't scrape through. So that tells you how shit my draft team is because I captained him. I was saying before to you, TK, because we had a bit of a yarn before we pressed record, that first try when he pretty much hit it up off the pass from Harry Grant on the line just shows that he's got his confidence back. And I mean, there was always heaps of value in him. You were a rookie if you didn't start with him, and he just looks like he's going to be a set and keep for the season.
Yeah, it was great to see him back because that's the Paps of old. So, he's going to accumulate us and become a captaincy option as well. But, Jamie, turning to you, stud, mate.
Oh, I can't go past Deal Bags from that last one. That's two 80-plus scores in a row from a 2.6% ownership. He's looking better and better. I think he's already topped his try assist from last year, if I'm not correct. With 3 or whatever he had, and a couple of tries. So, just getting better and better. Can't really go past him, so...
Is it fair to say he's your love interest, mate?
He's definitely my love interest this year. But we have Pap. Like, I have my favourite player, Paps. Can't get 4 tries, and then to come out with Deal Bags after that, can't complain.
I love it. Now, boys, mine was Britton Nakora. He's bounced back hard. Everyone was trying to sell him after round 2. He's come back with a 56 and a 57. 42 tackles, 1 turnover tackle. He's just getting through. His base stats have really, really improved. So, heading in the right direction and a team in massive form. So I hope no one's really sold him after that round 2. Used the 3-8 rule and yeah, you're probably going to see some dividends from him. But boys, going to duds now.
No.
Jamie, duds. Who have we got?
Cameron Munster. Wow. That was a tough one. I actually told anyone, I was like, he's going to be a stud this year. Get him in. Was the last chat this week. He ended up with 28, but definitely not ideal for someone who we're expecting to average around the 60 mark. That was probably the biggest dud. Other than that, I suppose someone like Tommy Gilbert, we could say as well. He's had that good game, bad game. Just a limited minutes after his sin bin was a painful one. That's about all I got for you.
Big time. Now, Cobbs, who we got dud time in?
Toby Sexton.
Oh, yeah.
We're waiting for this one.
We weren't. Well, there was a lot of people giving it to us after his a 61 in round 2, and he had that 45, first game of the season against the Eels, and then went back to his 44. But the 25, he had how many missed tackles? 6 missed tackles. Like game in, game out. NRL, she's a different kettle of fish, and he had the 3 games last year against some weak opposition. It's still a small sample, but that wasn't a great score for him on the weekend.
Yeah, if you're hitting a 20 against the Tigers, there might be something wrong. That's fine.
Up and down.
Yeah. Those kick meters they brought AJ Brimson in to kick a lot more over the weekend as well. So maybe
that was a massive surprise because AJ seemed like the dominant half on, was it Thursday night?
Yeah,
Thursday night.
We're still trying to forget that game, but
yeah, but all the talk for Sexton was he was going to get all kicking duties. AJ would just be running, but it changed around on the Thursday night. So that unlucky to the Sexton owners.
Big time now, boys.
Thing, right?
Yeah,
it's like everyone can have a dud game, but if he's going to lose those kick meters, then he's probably like an instant trade out. But you'd have to give him a week or 2, you'd say.
Big time. Now, boys, I had Tyrone Peachy. He's gone to the sin bin twice in the last 3 weeks. Like, his energy out there at the moment isn't great either. Missing a lot of tackles, not really running the ball. So I hope you don't own him. If you do own him, sell him because I don't think it's going to get any better. So Tyrone Peachy for me. Now, boys, let's rip into some burning questions. Before I do that, our Talking League merch is out now. We've got 4 shirts and a mouse pad. We've got 50% of profits going to the Mental League Foundation. The links to buy your shirts are in the episode notes, or just head over to the Facebook page, and I've linked it to the top of the page. So, like I said, 50% to the Mental League Foundation. I've got my Rabby shirt on at the moment.
Looks good, mate.
And you can get 10% off Talking League Rage by using the code Talking League. So have a look for that. All right, bit of news first. Excuse me. Judiciary, Tom Flegler, looking at 3 separate charges, looking at 2 weeks on the sideline. Jazz Tavanga, same thing, dangerous contact charge, 2 weeks. And we've got fines for Griffin Neem, Chad Townsend, Dominic Young, Jake Clifford, and Lachlan Ilias. Now, injuries, the big one is Tom Travojevic. He's got scans on his knees. He was sighted in a knee brace and really hobbling badly, they reckon. Brad Parker wasn't dropped from the weekend. He has COVID. Now, another one, MCL sprain from Pat Carrigan, look at it 4 to 6 weeks. Dylan Walker was only a corked thigh. Hammer 1 to 2 weeks with the PCL. Albert Kelly, suspected Liz Frank, so he's 3 to 5 months. Mark Nichols, syndesmosis. Tyson Frizzell, low-grade hamstring, and Beau Fermor was COVID. But boys, let's rip in some burning topics from the week. First one, Jamie, Nathan Cleary, give me your thoughts.
Bit rusty, wasn't he? You just look at his goal kicks. He's usually obviously one of the sharpshooters in the league, and he's kicking them sideways almost. So that to go along with a few less run meters than normal. I kind of said on my channel that he picks up 30 to 40 points just when he runs the ball. He gets that 100 meters. He offloads, he tackled Russ, he scores tries and sets up when he runs to the line. He just didn't do that as much, so it'll come over the next few weeks. If you can possibly get him this week, great. If not, it's around 6 or 7, I think would be a target when he really gets back into it. But I do think they have the Dogs next week. Is that right? So
yeah,
that's a scary one if you're wanting to leave him out this week coming up. So it was okay.
Yeah, that's the worst thing that they've got the Dogs, especially after we saw what Melbourne done to them. But Corbs, give us your thoughts on Nathan Cleary, man.
Yeah, Dogs, Broncos, Raiders, Titans. His next 4 games.
Yeah, you want him, don't you?
And then the Eels, Storm, Roosters, and by that time, a big game player. He seems to score well against the tough teams because he gets those kick meters, and probably there's not going to be junket points for the Tago and Mays just running rampant like they have against Who'd they play on the weekend?
They played South.
South, yeah, jeez. Yeah, the Panthers are going to be good this year. What was your line, TK? Get as many Panthers in your team as possible.
The whole team.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, Cleary. You're going to lose 40K, have a fairly decent break even next week, just going off the price predictor. So, yeah, it was how I hoped he'd come in and play because I want to get him.
Yeah, big
Yeah,
time.
I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Biggest thing for me, I would love to get him, but the flat track bully tonight, Matt Mitchell-Moses, he's bought me some time, I reckon.
He was special
Especially
tonight. He did really well.
Yeah, with the draw that he's got. But I think you pretty much summed it up pretty well. I think eventually once he settles into the season, he's not going to make 6 missed tackles every week. He's not going to have 66 metres gained every week. He's going to probably add, well, maybe 1 or 2 missed tackles, 100 metres. You probably think his kick metres are already there. Like you said, Jamie, he missed 3 kicks that generally he'd probably kick 2 or 3 of those. So I think easily I'm still projecting him 70 once he gets into 70, 80 once he gets into stride.
And there's not many players averaging over 60, so if you can get someone that's guaranteed that, it's obviously well needed for anyone's squad.
Yeah, big time. Now, Talon May, boys, he's hit 250s in a row. He scored 5 tries in 2 games. Have you got him, Jamie?
No. It's killing me. Oh, how does he beat 2 players? I'm like, they passed it out to him. He'll be right. They'll defend him, and he just ducks under, does a little Brian Toto and gets in. I'm like, you're killing me. He's gonna be like 400k. That's the big worry. But he probably gets to, if he averages 40, he gets another 150 or so k in price rises. And as you've been talking about, he gets the wing fullback duel after round 6 as well. So he's pretty close to being a must-have, right? Just for the price rises, and in a team that's that good, he should be scoring pretty well. Like, Tungol's killing it every week. So yeah, annoying.
How are you going to get him in, mate?
About as annoying as Josh King not picking up him. So.
Don't worry, I did the same. But mate, how are you going to get him in?
Well, I think Reed's on the chopping block, so it might be someone we may as well bring him up now with Carrigan being out and possibly Flegler as well. I think Kobe Hetherington comes into the fray.
Mm-hmm.
His PPM's incredible. If he can get anywhere near the 45-50 minutes, he's going to make a lot of money, and has that dual position hooker mid as well. So I'm thinking possibly Reed down to him, and then I'll have a look at how I can get Talon May. But that should leave me some cash to get to Cleary next week, would be the thing.
Yeah, that's a good one, man, for sure. But Talon May, I think you brought it up, that he's just going to have that pretty much negative break even for the next few weeks. He's just going to keep accumulating. And then during Origin, I think it'll be quite handy as well when Toho goes
thing.
and
It's just holding him over that period, yeah.
So big time. Corbs, did you bring him in this week?
No, I didn't. I made the one trade, and I traded out Billy Walters, who looks like he's going to get a starting spot next week. Still haven't seen how he scores, so I won't write off my trade yet. Talon May, yeah, you've sort of made all the points that need to be made in regards to getting him, and yeah, the Origin one is a big one. I reckon he'll easily make another 100k. Like you said, Jamie, the 40 average, he's just one of those busy, happy to come in and take the tough carries. It's almost like their first 4 hit-ups, so they're 4 outside backs, the Panthers.
Big time. Now, boys, let's move to one of my Sharkies, Sifa Talakai. He had something like 17 tackle breaks on the weekend. Corbs, have you got any interests in Sifa, who's kind of around that mid-300s mark at the moment?
No, he can be a bit of a yo-yo. I've had him in the past in draft and whatnot, and I just think he's too risky. If you're willing to roll the dice, but I'm not going to.
Mate, how strong is he?
He's
He's a beast.
It's good to see him back. How good was he? It was a couple of years ago when he came in the first time, is that right?
Yeah, 2020.
And he was special, wasn't he? Whether he played centre or second row. Obviously, injuries hampered him last year, but he's super talented. Like, he could take over Tracy, but he's obviously not going to score like that every week. But he could average 40 pretty comfortably, you'd say. Like, he's a better version of Moses Sully, if we can go with that.
Yeah, bit of a Conrad Howell
in a better team.
Yeah, big time. It was funny that his coach Fitz gave him a massive rap in the weekend and was talking about that he needs to find a spot for him somewhere in the starting.
Yeah, he deserves it. He's playing well.
Yeah, so it wouldn't surprise me if he keeps his spot, because Connor Tracy they're always talking about him being on the utility on the bench anyway, because he can cover so many different positions. So
yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, he might hold that spot.
Well, the other thing too, if you did want to go early on him, he's going to get the Centre duel round 6, you would think, if he keeps his spot till then.
Yeah. Jamie, do you remember, what is it, like 3 games you must play there or something before a dual change?
Yeah, and then kind of if you're lucky to be playing that position when they change the duels as well, when they select it. So obviously Taylor Mazer work well. But yeah, 3 is the number you're looking for. Usually 3 in a row.
Okay, cool. And okay, another youngster at Manly, he actually got his starting debut. We're talking about Talatau Kula, and now he's at 220k. Huge ownership. I think people got caught out by him in that first round, expecting him to play more minutes. But probably the news, a little bit off-putting now, is that Brad Parker only got COVID, because originally it was thought that he was dropped, which isn't the case. So he'll be back into the team selection next week. But the big one's probably with Tom Trbojevic being out. So you would have to think if he's in a brace, he's going to miss some time, even if it is kind of minor. But I guess Caller probably takes a spot somewhere there. They might move Jamie Ruben Garrick yourself back to fullback, and then maybe put Caller onto the wing. But have you got him, Jamie, Caller?
Nah. Just seeing him on the bench at the start, knew he was going to get 10 minutes or something. I wasn't going to pick him up. But I suppose the easiest thing is if he starts over one of those centres. I know there was some pressure on Harper as well. So if he gets that starting job in the centres next week, then you can probably lock him in. But if not, you probably hold off, because he's 220, I think he's still going to be 220 because he's averaging 17, because he's had a few cheap ones off the bench.
Yeah.
So we can wait until it's a clear role. If Tommy's out for 4 weeks, then yeah, sweet. But if he's on the bench again, that's a no.
Yeah, for me as well.
Pretty simple with the team list, I think.
Corbs, can you believe he's 26% owned?
Yeah, because I think he was 220 when he started, dual position.
Yeah.
So people were just like, and they saw him in the trials and were like, yep, sweet.
I just had a look at that.
How many is that of guys that are actually in the top 5k players or something? Wouldn't be high.
Yeah, it wouldn't be many.
Yeah, as you said, Jamie, he's only another 8k he's going to make from his 32 on the weekend. So he'll be at 220k, which is nothing really. But yeah, who knows with Des? He sometimes you just don't know what's going through that bloke's head.
That try assist though for Ruben Garrick, do you see that, Corp?
Yeah, he played well. Again, he looked busy. A 32 isn't overly exciting, but if he locks down a spot dual in the Manly side like that, you'd have to be definitely thinking about getting him.
Yeah, big time now.
Let's have a quick look, actually. Sorry, before we move on. 11 of the top 100 own him. Wow.
Really?
Wow. And 11% in the top 1,000. So 110. Wow.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Especially if he doesn't get footy again. But boys, you brought up a good one, Kobe Hetherington, with all this stuff coming out. The other guy that's been impressing is Ruben Cotter. Now, Ruben's a little bit more expensive than him, but Corbs, you're thinking maybe, especially you're looking at a bit of a downgrade for AFB. Is maybe Cotter in your mind as well?
Yeah, he's been going good. I mean, do you think he's going to continue? Because it seems Peyton loves him as well. He's going to continue the starting 13 role and get those minutes.
He's a great player.
And yeah, he is a good player. He's priced, what about the...
Awkward.
Oh, yeah, it is a very awkward price, because you just don't know with Peyton. Feel like you could bring him in and then he could change his minutes and just really stuff you again. Low 2.0. But yeah, he's priced around that 40 average, going off the...
Give you a bit more after these 2 weeks, but I think he's going to average high 40s, 50.
Yeah. And then Lolo bounced back too, boys. I know that for him being in middle doesn't mean so much.
Squad.
Did ya?
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah.
That's, at least you had a...
71 before updates, so thankfully we're down to 61, but... Yeah.
I still don't get how these updates, like, how they changed the rules, Jamie, with the offloads? That did not come in, did it?
It's fixed now.
Is it fixed?
Well, it was always fine. They just didn't show it on the fantasy app.
Okay.
It would say like 3 offloads for 6 points, but it was really 12.
It's very strange.
This is the first week that they've actually put it up as 4.
Okay, perfect. Because have you noticed between the NRL website and then the fantasy website, the scores for the players are different?
Sometimes.
It's very strange.
Only sometimes. No, but they usually fix it. There was one game last week. I think the first game of the week, they had stuffed it up in just the first game compared to the scores, and then they fixed it in updates. So who knows?
There you go.
Does anyone we need a contact with Surely we could get a contact. People keep asking me, I was like, have you got an in with NRL.com? I'm like, nah. So
All I know is feedback@nrl.com.au. I think we should just all pester him and just keep
we need to
pestering.
find out who it is.
You imagine once we do though. they'll-
Oh, actually, we wouldn't get non-stop questions here.
after a week, yeah, we'll get onto it.
Big time. All right, boys. It's Joey Manu. He had an absolute bounce back to form on the weekend. He just come in the duels, got that kind of low 500s, but Corbs, is he, especially with him being a Kiwi and him playing that round 13, is he in your mind at all?
Yeah, the Roosters like to rest their blokes over Origin, and Teddy seemed to get quite a few games last year, so I'd be definitely thinking about getting him, but he'd be a late guy to be brought in because his price is still pretty. What is he at? 531, and he just scored a 58, so that'll probably take it up. No, that shouldn't change it too much with his break even.
Two tries, 2 try assists too. He was heating up, man.
He was red hot, and the Roosters, just with the way they're playing and the way that he gets to just rove about, that's just fantasy points galore. Looking at him, but he's down the track. He's penciled in for a later over the Origin, and it could be just a straight swap for Teddy.
Yeah, big time. Jamie,
I can't stop laughing at Corby's floating half head.
I'm on the couch.
Yeah, how good.
Yeah, just trying to get a bit relaxed because TK and the boys went with that option, so I'm seeing how it goes.
Joey. Well, I've had him last year for the majority of the year, and he actually did super, right? But they obviously have more options this year, which is why he hasn't scored as well so far. Obviously, and they haven't played great. But I think through that Origin period, maybe just before, you could pick him up and he'll do a great job. He'll move to fullback when Teddy's out and do really well. So I think probably through that period, I'd be looking at him, but not right now.
Yeah. Does Teddy worry you at all?
How he's playing?
Yeah.
He's doing all right. I suppose you could say he was doing similar to Pap until tonight, but yeah, there's a few of those fullbacks like Reece Walsh is similar at the moment, just getting that high 40s. Remember, the lack of tackle bust drops them all down a little bit, but you'd be hoping for Teddy to average around the 53, 54. I think was what he was priced at, so he's not too far off that. Like I think he's lost 20k or something.
Yeah.
He's pretty much giving you what you paid for.
It's going to be interesting to see how they trend. Like, the Roosters miss a lot of tackles the halves. Like, my narrative might be dying here, boys, because the amount of missed tackles between Keary and Sam Walker. I know that Fitz isn't the defensive coach anymore, but Jesus, they miss a lot of tackles.
Yeah, can we talk about Sammy or?
Yeah, man. Let's talk about it because he's been letting me down. Like, I've been waiting for him to explode, right? Because his goal kicking's actually been pretty good. He's striking the ball very well. Yeah. But I guess one of those things that just, like I said, he just demerit-wise, he's losing something between 12 to 16 points just in demerits every week. Yeah. And I guess he just hasn't scored a try yet either. And looks like he's been doing a lot of try creates or whatever, but not being the try assist person. Yeah. So I reckon that's been hurting him as well.
Yeah. But I suppose when you look at it, Keary has been terrible as well. He's averaging like 30, so I thought Keary would have done a lot better than what Walker was. That was my narrative, but they just both, as you said, are both missing a lot of tackles, not really happening for him. So you'd imagine it'd improve as they get better, as the Roosters get better, but...
Yeah.
I was watching Rolls with his press conference afterwards, and I had heard it before as well, but a lot of their players came back late, so I think they were always going to start the year off fairly slow. Yeah. And yeah, like you think about some of their players, a lot of them had big time off with injuries as well. Like Collins, he looked like he was starting to get back to his best, just being aggressive and dominant through the middle. Where Hargraves was probably late to the piece, and him and Takiaho, that first game, they got outshone by Baker through the middle, but they looked better as well. Teddy, he had 12 weeks off. Keary had all of last year off. Radley. So you'd think once they start all firing again, that could, the defence is still going to be an issue, I think, but that will help them just in the team and attacking surely in the halves.
Yeah, one of the guys you did mention there, Corbs, Rads, he had a stormer of a game. I know he scored a try, but we can get that out of him every week, then he would become fantasy relevant. But that's kind of where he gets the tricks, right? Because he'll have a low, like 3 low games in a row, then trick us with a huge game like that. People will pick him up after this week, but a little bit of Trap City there, right, Jamie?
Yeah, he had a Murray-like game, didn't he? But he won't be doing it every week, that's for sure.
Yeah, big time.
How's
So make
Murray
sure.
been? Jesus.
Do you think he can keep this up?
Oh, that's why I think I kind of said it in one of my other ones that he got the big minutes because they had a couple of injuries, right?
Yeah, I heard that one.
Like I've just mean like I feel like he's eventually going to have a 60-minute game shortly. Like he did it so often last year. How often can you make 50 tackles and 150 meters every week? Like how long can you keep that going for? I don't know.
Well, playing in the middle, I think you're right, because they'll eventually burn him out. They're going to
Not
have
just
to.
passing the ball. He's making 150 meters a game, and yeah.
Yeah, him going to Origin and things like that. They're going to have to decide some point during the season to reduce his minutes because he just won't be able to keep it up.
Isaiah Yo's doing the same thing though. But
Yeah, that's probably
we
coming
all, like,
back to
I think
him
a
as
couple
well.
of years ago, we all picked up Isaiah after about 3 or 4 rounds when he was killing it like this, and then he'd have a 60-minute game and bits and pieces. Like he'll still score well, Murray, but in terms of rads, he'll be this type of game. If you have a look at his stats, footy stats, statistics.com, get on there. He has a bunch of 30s after this. You watch.
Big
Yeah,
time.
well, that's the thing with Murray too. You're getting him on an all-time high. So
Yeah.
if you didn't get him early, I think you mentioned it in that same video you did, Jamie, that, you almost missed it. You may as well just wait now. And he'll be sort of that bloke too. If they can rest him over Origin, he's going to be the man.
Yeah. We missed the vote. Move on.
Yeah, boys, I didn't put this question on the list, but I may as well ask you. Jack Bird. Now, he's in my thoughts possibly about selling him. Jamie, is he in either of the teams?
Just traded him out.
Okay.
I was going to do Reed, and I was like, I'll give Reed another crack. So I went Bird out instead. And then moving to 6, I didn't really like that either. You just see someone that just, as you're talking about with Walker and Keary, just runs out of the line a bit, throws the arm out, gets the old missed tackle. Strange one. He averaged 50 last year in the back row and didn't really have any tries. So he's added tries, and he's still got a 39 with a try and weird ones like that. So I think he can move on. If you want to use him to downgrade to a May, if you wanted to, if you got Bird in the centres, you want to go to May, you could do that. Use his money to go up to Cleary, whatever you want to. Yes, he's going to be a keeper, but there's also a guy. You got Tungo in there. Burton's been average. We should probably speak about him too. But Aitken, all those guys that are around that price point that will do slightly better, so you could, if you wanted to, move on.
Yeah, that man Burton you just mentioned, my hesitation was always the draw. And I just think that
You did well with that
eventually,
one.
once they settle down, I think once around that round 8, round 9, they start hitting kind of those Raiders games. Just outside the games they're hitting at the moment are just the best teams in the competition. And they're going to get hammered in a lot of these games. And he won't have attacking stats, man.
Yeah, that was a good call.
He's got
He didn't
Panthers
score
and
well the
Rabbits.
first 2,
He's got Panthers and Rabbits coming up too.
yeah. And what easier after that? Is that right? 7,
Then
8.
it goes Broncos, Roosters, Raiders, Knights, Tigers, Dragons. Yeah, and then Panthers in the round 13, which will be missing about 8 players.
To lock him in for round 8, TK? Is that the theory?
Yeah, around that mark, mate. And he'll probably lose a lot of enough money. We might pick him up low 500s.
Yeah, he's not doing too bad. Like he's averaging 40, so he'll hold to 550 or something like that, and he'll be Again,
TPJ
he's not doing terribly, and I think that's the other thing to think about. The how they're pricing each player is different this year. There's a few guys that you think would have lost some cash, and they've kind of held steady or gained even 15k. I think we were saying at the start of the year it was 12,500 per point, and I think it's actually about 14,000 per point. So
Yeah, that's what I've been doing it off recently. That the footy stats guy, he chucked up a thing, and we had a crossover pod with Wilfred from the Supercoach Champions, and he was saying how the Supercoach points and money works, and it was very similar. It's based off a 3 sort of 4 round average of the point scoring. So because the point scoring has changed, it's now driven that price to the 14k, which old mate was talking about in his post.
Yeah, that makes sense, which is very interesting because if you can hit I think I worked out, if you can hit a 50 average, you're at close to the 700k.
Yeah.
Which is, if we're looking at Isaac Tungo, we're looking at a bunch of guys like that, then they're going to get 650, 700. Like Randall, we could see them really high. And And yeah, the Birds and the Aikens and stuff like that at 44, 43 average kind of thing. They're going to stay 550, closer to 600, just with that average. So they're not urgent sells by any stretch of the imagination. That's why they see if you get anyone around that 60 average, you're absolutely pumping it. Like people are trying to give it a DCE for Cleary. I'm like, he's this second best scorer in the game, whatever he is. Like,
I've seen some. Yeah, you always do every round, but some of the trades to move heaven and earth for a bloke that's first round in, and all the podcasts and talks that I listen to from everyone that I'm not going to say expert because we'll throw that word around loosely. We would never fit in that category, but everyone that sort of gave their advice was saying wait a week, and yeah, we all got that one right.
Big time. All right, boys. That was the round 4 wrap. Everyone, you can catch Jamie at NRL Fantasy Analysis. You can check it on YouTube or across all different podcast apps. Just remember Game Day Squad. That's out now. So head over to gamedaysquad.com.au and get your Talking League merch. But Jamie, really appreciate it. Love the guns. And thank you for sexing up Talking League for a week, mate.
thanks for having me. The shirts are good, guys. Yeah, everyone get around the boys, and they've put a lot of effort into getting those sorted. So if you can buy a couple of them, and obviously a bit of money goes to a good cause as well. So I'll be buying some. Everyone get out there. Get the Maps one. How good?
Are you going to get the sawn off? Are you going to get the scissors out and cut the sleeves off?
I can't let you just get a singlet for me. Just for me.
We'll get one. We'll have to.
Put the mouse pad across me chest, and that's it. That's all it covers.
There's plenty of ideas coming through for different shirts. So obviously you got the 4 main ones up there, but we could get the good looking roosters of the comp and get like Garrick Madison, yourself. Just chuck your face in there somewhere with Reece Walsh.
We'll get all the
Hines.
Don't worry, mate. There's been calls for the Snake T-shirt as well. So. Very all right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for leaving all the Spotify reviews as well. That's been going through the roof, so I really appreciate that. And yeah, please get around the shirts, raising some money for some charities. So really appreciate it there. But Jamie, another good round from you, and hopefully we can do another collab pretty soon, my man.
Sounds good, TK. Cheers, Corby. Good to see you again.
Yeah, you too, man.
I'll check you on Tuesday. Good, mate. You look pretty good from the couch there. You look very relaxed tonight.
Yeah, well, actually, we've got a friend over, so I got booted. Yeah, I was getting too comfy. I was just looking at my ranking go up so much. Just happy to crack the 900 for the first time.
How good.
All right, boys. Stay safe, and Corbs, I'll see you on Tuesday.
Right, mate. See ya.
Cheers,
see you, ladies and gentlemen.